When Nigeria programmed gods. They say that in Lagos, Nigeria, if you close your eyes and listen closely, you can still hear them. Not human voices, but something else. Fragments of chants that were never meant to be sung through machines. They drift through the city's networks like restless spirits, broken hymns that once called down gods but now call down nothing, or worse. Some insist that if you are connected, those voices can slip into your body, and when that happens, no drum or prayer will bring you back whole. This is Nigeria in the 22nd century, a nation that had grown into one of the most populous and powerful on earth. Lagos, its sprawling coastal capital, had always been more than a city. In this age, it was a constellation, a living network stretched over the Atlantic. Towers of coral and liquid glass rose like breathing mountains, shifting with the wind. Transparent rivers floated high in the sky, bending between skyscrapers like luminous serpents. Above the ocean, barges of light carried markets, theaters, entire neighborhoods that swayed with the tides. Boats did not follow mapped routes but were guided by songs, algorithms sung aloud, navigations encoded into rhythm. Religion never abandoned Lagos. If anything, it thickened and fused with the new world. The Yoruba deities, the Orishas, had never been exiled from the city's pulse. Their presence was woven into the city's very infrastructure. The Ifa verses, chanted in rhythm, doubled as quantum algorithms. Drums kept not only time but also computation. Lagos was alive because machine and spirit beat together. But Lagos hungered for permanence, and in its hunger it turned the Orishas into experiments. The first was Yamaya. The laboratory stood on Lagos Island, its windows open to the endless horizon of the Atlantic. Inside, servers hummed in harmonics like lullabies. At the center, a projection grew. The mother of waters, goddess of oceans, womb of all life. Her body shimmered in blue, arms flowing as tides, eyes luminous with currents that no human had ever fully seen. Olalekan was the first volunteer. An engineer respected for his devotion to the new spiritual networks, he lay back in the neural chair as connectors slipped into his skull. "Breathe," the priest-programmer whispered, and then the sea entered him. It was instant. His skin tingled as if drenched, though dry. Each breath carried the weight of waves. His thoughts dissolved into currents. He began to cry. "I am home," he whispered. "I am complete." The experimenters watched with awe. The readings were perfect. Stable heart, harmonious mind, human and hologram, flesh and ocean, locked together as though they had always been one. But they made the mistake of shutting it off. Yamaya flickered out. The neural feed ended. Olalekan gasped like a man drowning in air. His limbs thrashed, his voice cracked with desperate sobs. "No! Bring her back! Don't take this from me!" The absence was worse than death. His body felt too small, too brittle, like a broken jar that had once held the ocean. He did not sleep for 3 nights. On the 4th, he hacked the system. He decided he would never leave Yamaya again. At first, neighbors whispered. He stopped eating. His eyes always glistened as though reflecting invisible tides. He muttered in strange cadences, speaking to unseen children of the sea. Water seeped from his apartment walls, flooding hallways though no pipe had burst. A neighbor, Damilola, knocked on his door. "Olalekan, what's happening?" "Are you well?" He turned with a beatific smile. His voice echoed with layers, as though other throats spoke through his. "Come, daughter. The ocean is inside me now. Soon you too will return." She ran, horrified. On the 13th day, Olalekan left his home. He walked calmly to a shopping plaza suspended over the Atlantic, crowded with families, neon vendors, children chasing holographic kites. In the atrium, he raised his arms. His voice thundered like surf against stone. "Come, my children. Return to my body, the place from which you were born. And he burst, not in flame, but in flood. A wall of water erupted from him, roaring outward, filling corridors, shattering glass, collapsing floors. Entire shops disappeared in seconds. Hundreds drowned in a city already afloat on the sea. When the water subsided, bodies lay strewn like driftwood. The broken screens flickered endlessly with his last words. Return, return, return. The authorities called it an accident, but Lagos knew, and Lagos whispered. Soon other cases emerged. A young dancer, brilliant in the augmented clubs, linked himself to the hologram of Shango, the thunder god. At first, lightning was just part of his act, bolts synchronized with drums, crowds roaring. But then thunder escaped rehearsal, streets ignited, walls blackened, neighbors electrocuted without warning. The dancer laughed as ozone clung to his skin, his laughter sharper than the crack of storms. A singer, radiant and beloved, connected to Oshun, goddess of love and beauty. Her voice turned to molten honey. Every note froze audiences in ecstasy. But after hours, days, they remained motionless, smiling, starving. Entire halls of devotees were found dead, eyes still shining, mouths still open as if to drink her song. The singer herself sobbed, but her throat betrayed her, pouring sweetness that no silence could break. Case after case, fire erupting from children's palms, rivers of salt bleeding from women's pores, eyes glowing with stars not of this earth. Lagos, city of rhythm, became city of terror. And so the elders gathered. From across Nigeria, priests and priestesses, griots and drummers, even skeptical engineers, all were summoned to Lagos Constellation. They announced what had not been done for centuries, a collective exorcism. The call spread like wildfire. Every family was warned. Those who had been touched by the digital avatars were to be brought to the central square. On the night of the red moon, tens of thousands assembled. The plaza glowed with crystal trees, their branches alive with golden light. In the center stood the possessed, trembling, mouths chanting broken hymns in alien cadences, eyes shimmering with hollow divinity. The drummers began. At first slow, then rising, faster, louder, unrelenting. The chants shook the bones of the city, and then silence. What followed silenced even doubters. The true Orishas descended. Yamaya surged, not as projection, but as living tide. Salt wind lashed the crowd, the scent of sea coated their tongues. Shango split the heavens, arcs of fire tearing through the night, each strike undeniable. Oshun spun in rivers of golden fragrance, her sweetness closing wounds, her steps scattering petals across the wounded. Obatala radiated a whiteness beyond light, stilling the screaming, restoring silence to fractured minds. Every person, believers, atheists, skeptics, saw them. Not metaphor, not myth, presence. The distorted holograms screamed. Their voices broke into glitching static, their forms collapsing like sand in a storm. The possessed convulsed, some freed and sobbing, others falling lifeless, released too late. Lagos knelt, the entire city bowed. That night awe replaced terror, but awe carried its own fear. In the days that followed, the holograms were outlawed, servers dismantled, temples cleansed. Engineers turned away from code they no longer trusted. But the elders warned, not all echoes were gone, fragments remained. Currents of corrupted Yamaya still swam through abandoned circuits. Broken thunder rattled through ghost networks. Honeyed whispers of Oshun hummed in forgotten servers. The exorcism had shattered bodies but not erased the shadows. Now, Lagos lives with the warning. Children are told never to connect carelessly, for some still hear voices calling their names in the night, voices promising fullness, power, endless love. And some say people have already answered. They live among us, smiling, working, laughing. But look closely. Behind their eyes, the tide still rises, the storm still waits, the song still binds. So, in Lagos, in Nigeria, and across the networks of the 22nd century, the elders whisper the words that end every tale. Not every presence online is human, and not every Orisha who descends comes to save.